Hello, this is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. I'm doing my first real large EDH Deck Tech. This was a goal of something to do once I hit $50 on Patreon, which happened last week. This is one of my absolute favorite decks. I've been playing it a long time. It started out as a deck that had Raphellos in it, so it was put together before Raphellos was banned. Currently, I run Yeva as the commander, and I really like Yeva. The flash ability on Yeva is incredible. It's great against counterspells. I used to run Thrun as the commander, but just having the more flexibility to cast spells on your opponent's turn, I actually like much better, especially in a casual sense. This is not a super competitive deck, but it is a strong deck. It does win a pretty good amount. It is mono green, and we're going to step through it here. I'm going to talk about each of the cards and why they're in here. Mosswort Bridge is the first one. This is an incredible card. The hideaways are great in EDH. As you'll see, the mana curve is pretty high in this, and you can often cast a 7 or 8 casting cost spell because it's hidden under the Mosswort Bridge. Homeward Path is just an absolute must for any stompy EDH deck. The ability to get back your creatures after someone has stolen them is just incredible. Yavimaya Hollows is one of the most underrated cards in EDH. It helps a lot with board wipes. Very happy with this card. I put it in both mono green and my green-red stompy EDH deck. Dryad Arbor is incredible, especially since you can go search it up with Green Sun Zenith. It helps very early on with ramp. Occasionally, individuals will miss that it's out there. This artwork is definitely the tougher of the two artworks to see. I like this artwork, though, personally. The From the Vault is my favorite of the two. We've got a Strip Mine here. Strip Mine is just essential for shutting down your opponent's crazy lands. Shrine to Nykthos is one of those that I've been taking out a lot with Strip Mine. Highly recommend this. An Urborg or Cobble Coffers are also big targets. We're going to get into the basic lands here, and I am not a fan of having all my basic lands look the same. I like to have variety in my basic lands and go through some of my favorites. This was the first foil forest that Wizards of the Coast ever put together. It was an arena award. I remember having lots of these around when I used to run a Wizards store. The foiling on it is very nice. I like the artwork a lot. This is another arena foil. It has the classic artwork by Christopher Rush from Alpha and Beta. I could easily see a whole deck of these. This is very nice artwork. This was the first full art forest that was out there. These are from Unglued. The first Unglued set. I don't care for the border that much, but I really like the artwork. This is a rather rare forest. This is an APAC forest. I refer to this as the Ewoks forest because it kind of looks like there's an Ewok village there in the background. They gave these away in boxes of, I believe, revised or 4th edition in these packs. I'd like to get some of the packs and actually open them to show people what they're like, but APAC lands have always been one of my favorites. As far as foiling goes, the snow-covered foils are just beautiful. The reflections in them off the snow are incredible. I have a pair of these inside the deck just because I play against some people who use extraplanar lens and they will use snow covereds, and it's nice to have snow covereds so that you can gain that benefit. Outside of that, there isn't another functional reason, just that they're beautiful. Now, these next forests are a little bit of a rarity. These are the MPS. These are the player reward forests that are given out in Japan. I'm a huge fan of these. The artwork is really nice on them. This is a standard one, and the next set that you'll look at, we'll see if we can get the light there, but they each have the different clan symbols and the name of the clan there. I'm not sure exactly why they put that in there, but it looks really cool. The foiling shows it off really well. Here's the Golgari one. Here's the Simic one. And Celestia. And here's the Celestia one. This is one of the few autographed cards in the deck. I do like autographed cards. I don't intentionally go after them, though. On the collector side, they can be a little bit difficult. Now we're moving into the Zendikar Forest. It's the park artwork. Very, very nice forest. This is my favorite of these Zendikar forests. Really has kind of a geometric, sharp lines for a forest. It's so different than the other forests you see. Now this is a very odd forest. This is a Wald. This is a German forest with a plains picture on it. Very, very famous misprint. I used to have a whole deck of these. I would like to do a Selesnya deck that only runs these. Now we're getting into my absolute favorite artwork. Next, we've got John Avon Forest here. This is the 10th edition one. This is probably my favorite for a non-full art. The artwork is incredible, and it looks so good in foil. Next, we've got the Unhinged Forest here. Very, very nice artwork. But what really makes this forest shine is the way that it looks in foil. The tree in the background just really comes out. Just very, very nice. This is a recent pickup that I got from GP Portland. This is one of the Therese Nielsen forests. It's a bit darker forest. I actually see it more as a Golgari forest. The artwork is incredible, very soft, a nice foiling on it. And then the last one here, we've got a Guru forest, one of those player rewards ones. I did not have any of these left over from when I played during that time period. I pretty much destroyed these. I had to trade for this one recently. Moving on to the spells. Burgeoning is incredible. It's better than Exploration. It allows you to put a land in during each player's turn. If you've got some decent card draw, you can get way ahead with this card. Worldly Tutor is very, very nice. Instant speed. Rancor is one of the weaker cards in here. I've got this more for nostalgia, although it occasionally ends up winning a game, especially if there's a clogged up board state. Sensei's Divining Top is just incredible. This is a staple that I recommend in all EDH decks, especially if you can use it quickly, otherwise it can drag down the game. As you will see here, this is a ramp deck, so there's a lot of ramp. Cultivate is very good. Recross the Paths is amazing. Strongly recommend checking this card out. This is a new addition in here, Bow of Nylea. There's some really cool combinations, especially with persist creatures. A little bit of life is nice, and the ability to deal with flyers is also good. I am trading for these because they are a good long-term utility card in EDH. Harrow is another very nice ramp spell, a little bit risky versus counter spells. Krosan Grip, best artifact removal out there. Destroys enchantments also. But the fact that it gets around counter spells, and the artwork is just beautiful in that Time Spiral artwork. Commando's Reach is another great one. It's arcane. I don't have a way to really combo off of the arcane, but it's a really nice ramp, and the flowers here look really good in foil. Explosive Vegetation is just incredible. Bramble Crush is one that I've had in here for a while. I'm thinking about taking it out in favor of the 3 casting cost Beast Within. Dulva Acid Moss, great card. It ramps you and destroys an opponent's land. I would put this in the more competitive category. Skyshroud Claim is a must. The fact that the forests come in untapped is just incredible. It can often get you ahead of turn. Birthing Pod is a wonderful addition in this deck. I have a Birthing Pod chain that I can go all the way up the chain. This is one of the more powerful cards in the deck. Calling Chord is great, especially since you've got the Dryad Arbor in there. I like the new artwork a lot. The foil looks good. Genesis Wave is really Calling Chord's big brother and is extremely powerful in this deck. Often a win condition or gives you a turn until a win condition. I am not running Concordant Crossroads currently. If you want to make sure you win on the same turn that you cast Genesis Wave, Concordant Crossroads is definitely a good addition. Harmonize is one of the better green draw spells. Green is rough for draw spells. Natural Order has won me more games than I can count. You can cast this often on turn 3 and get something amazing out, or you can cast it on turn 10 and get what you need to finish the game out. Rude Awakenings is a card that I started playing in Cube and is just a monster in this deck. You have so many lands out, it's often a win condition. Lurking Predators is one of my favorite cards in here. There are so many creatures, as you'll see when we get to the creatures, and it allows you to cycle through things pretty quickly. Summoner's Trap is a must, especially if your friends play counter spells. Even if they don't play counter spells, it's very strong. It's instant speed, so you can get a creature into play. Boundless Realms, incredible ramp card. I'd say 80% of the time I cast this card, I will win in the next 2 turns. There's just so much that you can do with nearly infinite mana. Tooth and Nail is a very nice win condition in here. Craterhoof Behemoth tends to be one of the targets, although there are so many utility creatures, as you're going to see, that it's often just a way to get an answer to a problem. Praetor's Council might as well say draw 30, and you have no hand size. It picks up your entire graveyard, puts it into your hand. This replaces kind of draw spells. It's another nice way to refill and keep going. Quinoran Ranger is excellent. It's really ramp. It often catches people off guard. The Tree Speaker here is one that I'm pretty divided on. A little bit slow in slower games, though. It gets you a lot of mana. Acid's Warden, I would not pull for anything. The number of life that I've gained off of this has been really, really large. This is my only real flyer in the deck, is Birds of Paradise. I've thought about cutting it because it is a flyer, but once in a while you just need a flyer to push things through, and it's such a classic card. Really fits with green. Wall of Roots is really nice ramp that most people don't know about. Very, very inexpensive card. Wall of Blossoms is another one. I've got some tricks in here where I can bounce Wall of Blossoms again and again and get massive card advantage off of it. The Tribal Elder is one of the best ramp spells out there. Having a body discourages people from attacking you. You can get it back from your graveyard, play it again. Fauna Shaman is very, very nice. It's really a fixed version of Survival of the Fittest, which means that it's still completely broken. Omnath is a newer addition in here. He can often get very, very large and allow you to save mana. Now we're coming on one of my misprints in here, just an off-centered Yavimaya Elder. Very, very good card. Has a little bit of card draw on it. Gets you the basic lands you really need. Eternal Witness here is incredible. I use this all the time. So many good things to bring back. When you take a spell like Regrowth and you put a body on it, it becomes so much more useful. Dungrove Elder surprises a lot of people. Power and toughness equals the number of forests. And as you saw, I'm not running a lot of non-basic lands. Hexproof, and then you can also put a sword on him. Just a powerhouse. A nice target for Rancor also. Oracle is one of the best ramp spells out there, especially if you've got any ways to manipulate your library. Sensei's Divining Top definitely helps. Took me a while to be convinced to put Brawn in here, but Brawn is actually so much better than Rancor in most situations that this ends up being the win condition that I go for if the board state is stalled. Super powerful card here. Spike Weaver, MVP in a lot of games. There are just a lot of people who can't deal with it. Some tricks here, you can spend the 2 mana to remove the counters. Somebody's going to try to Swords to Plowshare it, get it into your graveyard, and then get it back with something like Genesis. Very, very, very powerful card. Very difficult for people to deal with. This is one that I'm going to look at altering at some point. I use this in so many games. I've got Thrun in here. Very nice against the control matchups. Stampeding Sero. I've talked about some cards with comes into play abilities. This just magnifies those. You're able to return your Wall of Blossoms again and again and get huge value. Now, this is another one of my misprints in here. This is Thragtusk, the Dark Tusk. You can tell there's a little black dot here. Much, much darker than the normal ones. Molder Slug is one of the best cards against artifacts. They have to sacrifice an artifact, so Indestructible doesn't save them, and it's every single player's upkeep. One of the reasons I run very few artifacts in here is that the Molder Slug often comes out very early, especially against people who are using Artifact Ramp. Acidic Slime, wonderful, comes into play ability, combos very well with the ability to bounce it. Genesis is an all-star I recommend in any green EDH creature-based deck. The ability to bring things back from your graveyard is incredible. Seaborn Muse is one of the few over-the-top powered cards that I wouldn't be surprised if it got banned at some point in EDH. It's just so much value. I can't not play it in this deck. Cloud Thresher is one that most people don't see coming. It's got Flash, Reach, and the ability to do damage to flyers. You can even invoke it. Highly recommend checking it out. Kamal is a nice win condition. It also stops people from playing land destruction, mass creature destruction in some cases also. Well, more on the creature destruction, because if you can turn all their lands into 1/1s, they're less likely to board wipe. Against a white deck, I try to get this guy out as soon as possible. Primordial Sage is one of the ways that I have to draw cards in here. Very, very good card. Very good against counter spells because it triggers when you play it. A Regal Force often draws 10, 20 cards. Really nice way to refill your hand. This is a great natural order target. Avenger of Zendikar is a great win condition in here. World Spineworm is just in here because he's fun. I mean, a 15/15 trampler that gives you 5/5s. I couldn't not play him, especially with natural order. We've got Soul of the Harvest here next. This is a really nice draw engine. 6/6 trample also. Woodfall Primus is one of the best answers out there for dealing with your opponent's weird threats. And then Craterhoof Behemoth is definitely a win condition. I've done 2,800 plus damage with this guy. Just incredible. Now we're going to move on to a few of the altars that I have in here. Scavenging Ooze. You got to play this guy in a green deck. It shuts down Reanimator decks. So useful. Beautiful altar by Adam Rosenvig. Soul Ring is one of my few artifacts in here. Wonderful altar on it. This is my favorite altar in the deck. Another one done by Adam. This is Survival of the Fittest, where the goblin is carrying 2 swords. Very beautiful. I like this original artwork, and the altar just makes this a wonderful looking card. Solemn Simulacrum is in here. Another staple that I recommend in any EDH deck. It's nice to have a body and to ramp and to draw cards. I don't know who did this next altar. I traded for it at a GP. It's Green Sun Zenith. Beautiful card. Very, very cheap right now because it's banned in Modern. I would definitely pick this card up. Now we're getting into some of the most powerful cards in here. Sylvan Library feels like a blue card. It allows you to draw extra cards, massive extra cards, 2 extra cards per turn, 4 life each. You can put those back if you don't need them, but I often just end up taking them both. Highly recommend this card. My only sword in here is Sword of Light and Shadow. It fits the creature theme. It lets me get creatures back from the graveyard. It does let me gain some life, and it lets me deal with the biggest removal, which is usually black or white removal. I don't have a lot of Planeswalkers in here, but the Garruk, Color of the Beast from San Diego Comic-Con is one of them. He fits the theme really well. Can often put giant creatures into play. I really enjoy this guy. Next, we've got Mutaz Jite, which is just an amazing card. Can often politically control the board, gain a bunch of life. Strongly recommend playing this. And the last card here in the deck is one that I actually traded for from somebody through the channel. This is a foil Gaia's Cradle. Amazing card, produces huge amounts of mana, especially given the large number of creatures. I definitely recommend playing this if you get the chance. My mono green EDH deck. Thank you. This has been Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. I also wanted to let people know that The Ultra Pro deck box that I'm using here, it works to hold 100 sleeves when they are double sleeved. I just took these out of some green sleeves that I had completely destroyed in playing them for the last 6 months. But it's one of the few deck boxes that has enough room to really fit a double sleeved 100 card EDH deck. The reason that I have it double sleeved is I might be a little too attached to rum and coke and playing Magic in drinking establishments. So I strongly recommend double sleeving cards if you're going to be anywhere around food or drink. The way that I sleeve them has them to where the open area is at the bottom of the card, so there actually isn't an open area after you're done sliding it in. It works very, very well. If anybody has any comments, suggestions, ideas on this deck, I'm definitely open to them. I'm probably going to be changing 5 or 6 cards over the next few months because I like to keep some variety in there. Especially since I just lost Raphaelos and I threw Thrun back in. So I'm looking for another nice replacement for Raphaelos since he was recently banned. Thank you, everybody out there on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. I hope to do some more deck techs like this in the future.